Hello everyone, my name is Ayal Lakshmi Nivas from CSC B. My roll number is 21951A0588. So today my concept video topic on problem solving with C is all about memory or storage devices. So we'll be discussing more about the memory or we so call it as storage devices. So getting into the PPT. So coming to the contents, we'll be discussing about what is memory, the basic definition and the application of it. So what is the memory? What is storage? Difference between memory and storage and types of storage devices, advantages and applications as I said you, and conclusions and references. So these are the topics which we are going to cover in this PPT. So coming to what is memory? Actually, what is a memory? So memory is usually designed to store and retrieve data in word length quantities. It is always based upon the semiconductor technology, or it can also be defined simply as it is a storage place where we want to store our data. The memory, the place where we store is called as the memory. So the device is called as the memory device. So memory unit is called as the random access memory. We so call it as RAM. So if any location can be accessed for read or write operation in some fixed amount of time, that is independent of location address. For suppose if we want to access a file from a random location immediately, so the file is actually saved in RAM so that we can access it quickly. So this is the advantage of RAM. So going to the next PPT. What is storage? A storage device is any computing hardware that is used for storing, porting, and extracting data files and objects. So these are some of the storage devices which we can see in this picture so that we can visualize it. So we have an iPod here and we have many SD cards and we have a CD, different types of CDs, and we have a modern pen drive which we actually use even nowadays, modern pen drive. And it is, and one more thing which is a cassette, so that we could record songs or store our songs. So storage is typically non-volatile in nature, means that it retains its state even when the power is off. So this is the advantage of storage, where it can retrieve or which can retain when there is no source of power. So this is how the storage device works, and this is how the storage device looks, as you can see in the picture. So let us differentiate both the memory and also the storage, because if we can if we can compare these both, we can know what is the actual difference between these two quantities. Well, coming to the memory, the term memory refers to the amount of RAM installed in the computer. So the term memory, which is referred to the quantity of the RAM which is installed on a particular system or a computer. Well, coming to the storage, the term storage refers to the capacity of the computer's hard disk. Means storage means the capacity of a computer's hard disk, means usually nowadays we get 512 GB to 2 terabyte or 4 terabyte storage as a primary storage in our modern computers. In olden days, we used to get only 5 MB to 10 MB, which was more in those days. So any data held in memory is lost when the computer is turned off. So memory is not a permanent one, where it can be used instantly, but when the power is gone, we cannot retrieve it back. Whereas storage is not of that kind. The information stored on a hard disk remains intact even when the computer is turned off. It is just like a runtime which actually saves accordingly, saves and the data accordingly, so that we can retrieve the data whenever we want. So storage is way more advantageous than a memory. So examples, coming to the examples, example of memory is disk. As we can see in the picture, example is disk, where disk cannot be permanent in that place, where storage is permanent, while like file cabinet is permanent. So this is the basic differences and simple differences between memory and storage. So coming to the storage devices, what are storage devices? We think that storage devices are only the hard disk and all those, but there are two types of storage devices, which are primary storage and secondary storage. So coming to the primary storage, which is the storage provided by memory in a computer, is called as primary storage, which we have discussed earlier. It is, they are RAM and ROM. RAM is random access memory, ROM is read only memory. So this is all about primary storage. Coming to secondary storage, which is the storage provided by the peripheral devices other than memory. Peripheral devices are nothing but the external devices which provide us storage. So which are, for example, hard disk, which can be used as an extension for storing the data, and floppy disks nowadays we don't use, but in the olden days they used to use a lot of floppy disks for saving data. And magnetic tapes, so magnetic tapes are used for recording even movies, and also for recording songs and etc. So these are all about different types of storage devices, and which are primary storage and secondary storage. Going to the next slide. Primary storage devices. So, primary storage devices are two types: random access memory and read only memory, as we have discussed earlier, which are random access memory, which comes under dynamic RAM and static RAM, where the ROM comes under PROM, EPROM, and EEPROM. So, these are types of random access memories and read only memories. So, coming to the dynamic RAM. So, what is a dynamic RAM? A dynamic RAM is that which loses its stored information in a very short time. Means we can lose the data which is being, for example, typed on the computer, which can be lost very easily for millisecond. Even when power supplies on, dynamic RAMs are cheaper and lower, whose efficiency is actually not good and which is lower. Similar to a microprocessor chip is an integrated circuit IC made of millions of transistors and capacitors. Static RAM, a type of RAM that is quicker than dynamic RAM and does not need to be refreshed. Because it is more expensive and holds less data than dynamic RAM, it is used primarily for cache memory. So, as we all know, that cache memory is waste memory which we maintain everywhere where we want to clear the cache memory. So, a type of RAM that is quicker than dynamic RAM and does not need to be refreshed, means it is just like a computer which actually works so faster to view the data, or we can retrieve the data very faster in a RAM. So only some amount of data is stored in the RAM, because for accessing files so easily we can only store only some amount of data. So this is all about static RAM. Programmable ROM, PROM. So what is PROM? PROM is programmable ROM. Sometimes we may want to write some data on the ROM. In such cases, we use PROM. Data can be written on it using special equipment. PROM is important to note that data can be written on PROM only once, but it cannot be removed from the PROM, which is stored permanently, which cannot be removed at any cost. EPROM. So EPROM is a programmable ROM, which is the data that can be programmed and erased. That note that programming and erasing is not limited to just one time. So EPROM is now used in most of the BIOS systems. This provides flexibility for the programmer. EEPROM. So coming to the EEPROM, EEPROM is the next generation of ROM. It takes EEPROM to the next level as compared to the EPROM. So EEPROM can be programmed using software technology. The main advantage of this is don't need special hardware to program it. So these are the advantages of EEPROM. So coming to the secondary storage devices, two main categories of storage technology used today are magnetic storage and optical storage. So coming to the magnetic storage devices, which are hard disk, fixed and portable, floppy disk, magnetic tapes, and flash memory. Coming to the optical storage devices, compact disk, which is CD, and DVD, which is a digital V disk. So coming to the fixed hard disks, which are permanent. So a hard disk drive is the device used to store large amount of digital information in computers and related equipment like iPods and games consoles such as Xbox 360 and PS3. Hard disk drives are used to store operating systems, software, and working data. So these hard disk drives are actually mainly used for storing OS, which is operating system of a computer, which is uh, a very main information, and also which also stores program computer softwares also. So like that, a fixed hard disk is used. Coming to the portable hard disks are good fun because you can carry data all about our place and transfer information, programs, pictures, etc. between computers. So this is a portable, as we can see that we can carry it in anywhere we want, throughout where you want to roam, and which is portable, which can be fit in our pocket. So these are the advantages of portable RAM. I mean hard disk. Coming to the floppy disks. A floppy disk is a data storage medium that is composed of a disk of thin, flexible floppy magnetic storage medium encased in a square or rectangle plastic shell. Floppy disks are read and written by a floppy disk drive. Magnetic tapes. So magnetic tapes, I think these are the oldest mode of devices where which we used to save the data, which has been used for data storage for over 50 years. When storing large amounts of data, tapes can be substantially less expensive than disk or other data storage options. Tape storage has always been used with large computer systems. So, what are CDs and DVDs? What are differences between them? So, nearly all computers today include a CD or DVD drive, usually located on the front of the system unit. Drives use lasers to retrieve data from a CD. Many CD drives can also record data onto CDs. If you have a recordable disk drive, you can store copies of your file on a blank CDs. You can also use a CD drive to play music CD on your computer. So DVD drives can do everything that CD drives can, plus read DVDs. If you have a DVD drive, you can watch movies on your computer or play music CDs. Many DVD drives can record data onto blank DVDs. What is flash memory? As we have discussed, it is a microchip, micro SD card, which is used for storing large amount of data. So flash memory cards store computer information such as text, pictures, and music. You can erase and reuse memory cards over and over. So most digital cameras, storage computers, pictures, and videos on a compact flash memory card or a secure digital card, which is an SD. So coming to the advantages and disadvantages, the advantages are greatly improved data cargo carrying capacity relative to 1.44 MB floppy disk. You don't need to worry about the other person having the same type of special cartridge drive as yourself. So coming to the disadvantages, hard drives have to be handled quite carefully, and when being transported should be wrapped in something soft and put in a padded bag, more expensive than other forms of removable media. So coming to the final conclusion, as per the content, so computer storage devices are a must for an individual or organization to keep data and information in a reliable and permanent way. When your computer fails to work, it can happen anytime. Your files will be kept safe on secondary storage devices. So thank you. So this is all about my PPT on different type of storage devices. So thank you all.